So welcome to Amani Club Debate Championship. On stage with St. Mary's Girls High School versus Kiereni Boys. Ready to work on the motion. This house believes that prioritizing love over discipline has contributed to the moral decay of today's youth. The first proposer on stage.
When with prophetic eye I peer into the future, I see that I shall perish upon this road, because the road got spared and I got spoiled. I, Angel Kenya, from the great Chuka High, here to strongly propose the motion that states prioritizing love over discipline has contributed to moral decay of today's youth. On to the definition of terms. Prioritizing. To treat something as being more important than other things. Love. A very strong feeling of liking and caring for somebody or something, especially a member of your family or a friend. Discipline, the practice of training people to obey rules and orders and punishing them if they don't. Moral, connected with principles of right and wrong behavior. Decay, the process or result of being destroyed by natural causes or by not being cared for. What about youth? These are individuals between the age of 18 to 35 years, all these according to the Oxford Dictionary 10th edition. And of course, there is no rose without its thorns. We have the effects of prioritizing love and how they have affected the youth. Number one, emotional dependency. When we rely on love or being loved for your sense of self-worth or stability, it leads to fear of abandonment, anxiety, and codependent behaviors, whereby we have 30 to 40% youths with trauma history leading to impulsivity, which engraves the epitaph in people's mind to "I want it now," becoming more important than "is it right?" according to cptsdfoundation.org. We find that examples of these impulsive actions, we have posting illegal photos in the social media. We also have dismantling of family structures. Let's talk about family structures. It is not the absence of presence, but the absence of firmness. Loving parents who are afraid to say no raise children who are afraid to hear it. From anyone, authority becomes an insult and responsibility becomes optional. What is love if it is not guaranteed? Some of our parents, when growing up, were subjected to harsh discipline, hence growing up with the mentality that their children should not go through the same, hence prioritizing love, since they say it will give them guarantee to a better future for the children, hence giving them what they materially and emotionally to avoid conflict. This kind of parents are enabling, and thus, the children will lack critical thinking and will always run to their parents when something bad comes up. These parents should consider what if they are not there to provide a shoulder for their children to cry on. This is reported globally. Experts warn that overprotective parenting can hinder moral development by shielding our children from failure and consequences. This is according to radiovuna.co.ke.
On opposing side, Jojo Low from Kiereni High School, ready to opposing the motion that states prioritizing love over discipline has contributed to the moral decay of today's youth. Yes, I agree with all the terms you have stated, but I have allegations. According to the American Psychological Association, APA conducted a research and provided that people who are in loving and supporting relationships tend to report higher level of happiness and contentment with their lives. This is especially when the love is unconditional, but too much of something is poisonous, as you have seen, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a student who sits for the KCSE exams. His or her parents may be too strict and always prefer discipline as a sense of order, and hence forgetting to optimize with love. When this lad or fellow fails the main examination, nothing else might kick in their mind aside from suicide. And ladies and gentlemen, as it has been affirmed from 2015, the average deaths of youths is about 15 to 29. And this youth may have thoughts of even escaping from their homestead, because he or she won't anticipate anything positive from the parents. So I hereby emphasizing love to be balanced with discipline in order to create a generation of full empathy.
You expect me to keep smiling. You expect me to keep giving. You expect me to keep loving. Yet, prioritizing love over discipline has led to moral decay of today's youth. So, to my dear opposers, you've not told us how prioritizing love over discipline has led to emergence of suicidal thoughts. Someone once said, love for somebody can cause one minute to change for the worse, yet in the heart lead instead of the mind. Someone you hate can't lead you to drugs, but well, for someone you love can lead you to drugs. That brings me on to my first point on effects of prioritizing love over discipline. When one prioritizes love, this may lead to compromised decision making. I repeat, compromised decision making, since love-driven choices may override logic and long-term thinking, leading to poor lifestyle decisions. Let's take, for instance, I am a student at campus. I want to take an education course, but well, my mom wants me to take a medicine course. I have to compromise my career so that I can, just because I love my mom, I have to compromise my career so that I can do what my mom wants, all in the name of love. So, ladies and gentlemen, how do you tell me that we should prioritize love over discipline, yet we end up compromising our careers and compromising our morals as well? There are also other consequences of prioritizing love over discipline, such as poor lifestyle decisions such as substance abuse, whereas youth substance for thrill, escape, or peer acceptance, which leads to desensitization to self-harm and harmful peer influence, breakdown, or self-control. On to my second point. As youth normalize unharmful relationship patterns, treating love as a justification for sacrifice, youth may accept emotional abuse as devotion, and a view of jealousy or control as signs of care, according to adult.info. Think about that. You see love as a justification for your sacrifice. Just because you love someone, you can do whatever it takes so that you can please them. Just because you love someone, you're ready to compromise your career. Just because you love someone, you're ready to compromise your morals. Just a justification for sacrifice? Nah, that's not what we call love. So, a view of jealousy or control as signs of care. So, we should not view love as a sign, jealousy or control as signs of care. So, as I wind up, so ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to compromise your careers? Are you ready to compromise your morals? All in the name of what we call love. That's really blessing signing out.
From Kiereni High School, Lemon Karaoke in front of you, protesting love over discipline. I said the moral decay in our society. Yeah, you have made it very clear to us that it is not that much right to prioritize love over discipline. But is it that good? Is it giving discipline? Is it bad to your children? Like I mean, it is good to combine love and discipline to bring up morally upright children. You don't expect to teach your children, you don't expect to show your children love only and expect them to excel in life. They might think that everything that is there is theirs. Like if they were, for instance, if they go to campus, job opportunities, they might need to be hustlers so that they may get something to make up for their day. But now, without the knowledge of knowing that they have to get out there and work, they might think that now because I'm hungry, what should I do? I should go out there and steal. That's not right. Combination of love and discipline makes the way through it. Okay, another point to make is harsh parenting brings about rebellion in our students or in our youth, in our generation. As she stated, youth are people, in most of us here are youth, aging from the age of 18 to the age of 35. That's the age of youth. Now, being rebellious to children or showing all the time you are disciplining your children, it takes more of love so that one can change. You know, for instance, I have grown up in a family that my parents are showing me love, and when I go wrong, they correct me. In our class, in my previous school that I happened to have a classmate who grew up with parents who were disciplining him over everything. Like every wrong that he did, he was severely beaten. And when he came to school, he didn't do much that way in education, supporting that rebellion, so much disciplining of children or excessive discipline brings about rebellions in children. We find that in school, they are ever arguing with teachers, never coming to a point of shaking hands and saying, yes, teacher, I've done wrong, and I'm sorry for that, and I'll change. But now, because of your your parents have not been guiding you correctly and not disciplining you, what do they do? What does a child do when they go to school? They oppose the teachers in everything, no matter comes. And with that, that's all I had. Thank you.
Well, that's good progress for St. Mary's Team 1 versus Kiereni High Team 1. The motion is this House believes that prioritizing love over discipline has contributed to the moral decay of today's youth.
Needs and temperament. The aim is to help make responsible choices, develop empathy, and grow into well-adjusted individuals. And this is proven by me standing before you to firmly affirm the motion that states prioritizing love over discipline has contributed to the moral decay of today's youths. My first speaker has talked about emotional dependency, fear of abandonment, and how overprotective parents have hindered moral development due to what they term as love. My second speaker has talked about compromised decision making, substance abuse, and view of jealousy as a sign of care, which are the effects of prioritizing love over discipline. Spare the rod, spoil the child. Most of us fail to grasp the meaning of this verse, such that when we discipline our youths, we strengthen their self-control and emotional regulations. Isn't it clear today that when our youths live every day knowing that for every action they make, they shall face their consequences, good or bad? They often tend to avoid impulsive action and build self-control. It also encourages long-term thinking, since disciplining your child teaches them prioritizing delayed gratifications over instant pleasure, which not only encourages them to think of the long term, but also makes them to make choices that align with future goals rather than short-term desires, as stated by my first speaker. Isn't that what we need in our country? Think about it. We have heard a lot about how prioritizing love over discipline has led to decay among youths. Moral decay is like a disease, and I come to you as an epidemiologist to give you the cure for this disease. Because prioritizing love over discipline, where we should reinforce ethical education by incorporating ethics and moral philosophy into schools' curriculum, can help instill strong value. All this is according to researchgate.org. With that, it is Sheila Kendi from the Great Chuka High saying out.
I argue with the motion that prioritizing love over discipline has led to moral decay of today's youth. With proper understanding of love as having very strong feelings of affection for somebody, I hereby oppose the motion that prioritizing love over discipline has led to the moral decay of today's youth. According to me, love when properly understood is not the cause of moral decay, but neglect, toxic discipline, or lack of guidance is. I would also request our audience to be attentive because the examples were stated by my last two speakers. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I am Kemadi Victor Morini from Kiereni High School, opposing the motion with the following points. Number one, love builds trust and emotional intelligence. This includes giving love the first priority, enables strong relationship, fostering resilience and moral reasoning rooted in empathy. And this is according to Bomrin's parenting style research programs. Studies show that emotionally supportive homes produce children with better social responsibility. Number 2, moral growth requires internal motivation. Youth guided by love and values are more likely to behave typically and ethically of genuine conviction and not fear. And according to research, children raised with explanations and understanding of consequences develop stronger and moral authority. And not only authority, but also moral autonomy. Number 3, external factors are to be blamed and not love. Media influence and bad role models and poverty, etc., are to be blamed for the moral decay. These are the driving factors that don't blame parenting style or love. My case rests there.
Yeah, well, that's good of the last speaker. We are moving on with the motion of the Team 1 St. Mary's and Team 1 Kiereni. So at this juncture, we'll have 1 minute for rounding off from both teams. So we'll start with the proposers. You have a minute to summarize your submissions. Then we shall have the same for the opposing team. Welcome.
I think our opposers are actually supporting us because they came here and said, here to strongly propose the motion that states. I think you should have read the motion correctly. There is not much to argue over here. Ultimately, discipline is about building a strong relationship with your child based on trust, respect, and mutual understanding. It's about guiding them towards positive behavior and helping them develop skills they need to meet life's challenges. By focusing on teaching and nurturing, you can create a positive and supportive environment where your child can thrive and reach his or her potential. To the second speaker, you talked about harsh parenting, a form of discipline. Actually, harsh parenting has done more harm than good to the society. And I'll give you a rate of the number of people or students or the youth who have been affected by harsh parenting. First of all, harsh and coercive discipline such as rebellion, resentment, or emotional detachment, which leads to truancy, drug addiction, school dropouts. We have physical discipline where we have 14.2% adolescents in Mexico subjected to physical discipline are reported to use alcohol and 4.7% reported to have attempted suicide according to ajol.info. And I rest my case.
Firstly, I didn't say anything involving proposing because I'm always clear on my word. And about my audience, I don't relate to anything about statistics. We ain't need no graphs to draw anything about love. Simply because, see, why ask putting discipline in front of love? I don't get it, because can you ignore your own mother because of discipline? That doesn't make sense.